circumstances after, but not snuffing out the life of the child.
The second thing is your decision to resign as governor of Alaska.
Yeah.
With 17 months left in your term, you said, I wasn't going to run for re-election, so I was going to be a lame duck. You said that the state was being paralyzed because all of your opponents were filing these lawsuits. Didn't you let your enemies, your opponents, drive you from office?
Hell no. Thankfully, I didn't. What we did was we won, because the state today is not spending millions of dollars to fight these frivolous lawsuits and frivolous ethics charges. Ethics charges like me wearing a jacket with a Snow Machine logo on it and getting charged for an unethical act for doing such a thing. Little piddly petty things like that were costing our state millions of dollars and costing me and my administration, my staff members, about 80% of our time fighting those things. No, we said, we're not going to play this game. We picked our battle, and we said, we're going to get out there and we're going to fight for Alaska's issues, which usually involves energy independence. We're going to fight for these issues on a different plane, and we're not going to let you guys win. You're not going to let.
But they're going to think they won because you're no longer governor. Let me just make this.
I don't think that they think. Look, I'm sitting here talking to Chris Wallace today. I think some of them are going, dang, we thought she'd sit down and shut up after we tried to do to her what we tried.
I don't know that that's going to be.
And now we get to talk about energy independence. Now we get to talk about those things that are important to Alaskans and our country.
Before we were talking about Ronald Reagan, who you openly admit was your political inspiration and really a formative figure in your developing a political consciousness. Reagan, during his entire second term as governor of California, was a lame duck. Reagan, in that second term, was being sharply attacked by anti-war radicals. I can tell you, Ronald Reagan would never have quit.
It's a big difference between just getting political pot shots fired your way. I can handle those. I get those. Shoot, I got more of those this morning. So what? That doesn't matter. But when it adversely affected the people that I was serving, that's bull, and I wasn't going to put up with that. Again, millions of dollars, a paralyzed administration, my staff not knowing what they could do or say because the adversaries were continuing to obstruct. No way, I love Alaska too much to put them through that. So in that lame duck session, I'm like, no, I'm going to hand the reins over to the lieutenant governor. He's as conservative as I am. He can progress our agenda, a common sense conservative agenda for our state, and we can all get on with life.
You talk about new pot shots. I think what you're probably referring to is that NBC has gotten a hold, I'm sure you've heard, of hundreds of emails in which your husband, these during your days as governor, your husband Todd exchanged views with state officials about a judicial appointee, about appointments to various state boards, a labor dispute. Was what he was doing appropriate?
Absolutely. And you know, there are so few people in the political world and the media world that someone like me that we can trust. My husband he's my soulmate, he's my best friend, he's my #1 advisor. I'm going to bounce things off Todd. Nothing confidential that couldn't be shared with others out there in the public. Todd never circulated anything that was confidential and hadn't already been circulated.
But it's one thing to advise.
He certainly had the right to express his opinion on things too.
But it's one thing to advise you. He was also sending emails to state officials.
He was forwarding on emails. And here's another thing. Todd and I being in some cases thousands of miles apart, if I emailed him about something, say I was outside traveling, Todd's home, he's there at a desktop, and I'm telling Todd, hey, Todd, print this off for me. I'm going to grab it on my way home because I work off a BlackBerry constantly. For practical reasons, it helped too. Todd helped as Alaska's first dude with no staff, with no office, being thousands of miles away during a lot of times with his job in Prudhoe Bay on the North Slope and commercial fishing. He helped with workforce development issues that meant a lot to him and people out there in the real world with Carhartts and steel-toed boots and hard hats trying to build this country. Todd helped in that respect. He never got into the minutia of the politics. Todd's too good for that. He hates this kind of periphery political bull stuff that we go through. He's not a part of any of that. And no, more power to Todd for being a good advisor and a good practical person with common sense solutions.
We like to do a lightning round. Quick questions, quick answers. So I want you to play along with me here.
All right.
Attorney General Eric Holder, should he step down?
Sure. He should, and I think Rahm Emanuel should step down too. I think these guys are giving our president wrong advice, and for a variety of reasons, I would like to see them step down.
But specifically Holder, why?
Yes. Yeah, because of the way that we are treating these terrorists, allowing them our U.S. constitutional protections when they do not deserve them.
Should the rule, don't ask, don't tell for the military be repealed?
I don't think so right now. I was surprised that the president spent time on that in his State of the Union speech when he only spent about 9% of his time in the State of the Union on national security issues. And I say that because there are other things to be worried about right now with the military. I think that kind of on the back burner is sufficient for now. To put so much time and effort and politics into it, unnecessary.
White House Chief of Staff, you mentioned him, Rahm Emanuel.
Yeah.
You called him out. He used the R word. He said retarded. He has now apologized for using that word, met with activists, said he's going to join the campaign to try to eliminate use of that word. Is that good enough?
Rahm Emanuel, I think he has some indecent and insensitive ways of being, including his language, and as I said, for a variety of reasons, giving the president poor advice, I think, and his heavy-handedness. I think he should step down. I'm not politically correct. I am not one to be a word police, but I do believe that his insensitivity in a time when I had just promised in my GOP convention speech that those with special needs and families and those who love those with special needs would have a friend and an advocate in the White House if John McCain and I were so blessed as to be elected. That didn't stop me because our votes didn't carry the day, we didn't win. That didn't stop my passion, my commitment to reaching out and to helping the special needs community when they asked for it. And they did ask for it on this one. They reached out to me and said, can you kind of highlight the problem that we have in the White House with both the president and his chief of staff being so insensitive to the special needs community? And I said, I'm here, send me, I will do so.
Okay, but Rush Limbaugh weighed in this week, and he said this: our politically correct society is acting like some giant insults taken place by calling a bunch of people who are retards.
He was satirical
Wait, let me finish.
in that.
I mean,
okay.
These people, these liberal activists, are kooks. Should Rush Limbaugh apologize?
They are kooks, so I agree with Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh was using satire to bring attention to what this politically correct...
But he used the R word.
Using satire. Name-calling by anyone. I teach this to my children. You teach it to your children and your grandchildren, too. Name-calling by anyone. It's just unnecessary. It just wastes time. Let's speak to the issues and, again,
But you know what
let's
some
move
people
on.
are going to say, Governor, and have said? They say, look, when it's their political adversary, Rahm Emanuel, she's going to call him out. He's indecent, apologize. But when it's a political friend like Rush Limbaugh, oh, it's satire.
I didn't hear Rush Limbaugh calling a group of people whom he did not agree with effing retards. And we did know that Rahm Emanuel, it's been reported, did say that. There's a big difference there. But again, name-calling, using language that is insensitive by anyone, male, female, Republican, Democrat, it's unnecessary. It's inappropriate. And let's all just grow up.
All right. You are a Fox News analyst. So I want you to take off your political player hat and put the analyst hat on and really try and do your best job, almost like one of the commentators on the Super Bowl.
I'll try. Okay.
All right. Handicap the 2012 GOP presidential race for us. Who's the front runner?
No idea. I have no idea.
Well, you're not a very good analyst.
Well, fire me then, Roger. Sorry, I already failed. But listen, we have some strong, some young Terps in this party. Paul Ryan, I'm very impressed with Paul Ryan.
Congressman from Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's good, man. He is sharp, he is smart, articulate, and he is passionate about these common sense solutions that America has got to adopt to get us on the right road. I could name a whole lot of people.
Well, what about Romney and Huckabee and Pawlenty?
As I say, I could name a whole lot of them, but we don't have a whole lot of time. But I'm very impressed with many of the characters, the personalities, those with great intelligence in this party, and I can't wait to see who rises to the surface after, hopefully, some very competitive, contested primaries. I'm all about competition. I'm all about, even on our local level and state level, I want to see contested primaries where we are forced via competition to work harder, produce better, be more efficient, and that's what these contested primaries that I look forward to will produce.